When I was a teenager, there were illegitimate governments in Argentina and Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, that were sweeping people into secret prisons, torturing people, denying them access to attorneys and human rights observers, where their fate remained a mystery for years, even to their own families. You know, I think as a young person, that was when I first really realized that the crimes of the US government were not all in the past. And it was really amazing to open the paper this morning and see that the president, with details provided by unnamed intelligence officials, is now proudly and unapologetically admitting that the US has fully embraced this path. Secret prisons, waterboarding, sleep deprivation, physical assaults. This is now what we stand for. It's become clear to me in my study of the Christian right in this country, which remains Bush's most stalwart constituency after, I think, CEOs, that Bush has been able to sustain a degree of moral authority in his war on terror, in great part because millions of people in this country truly believe that he is engaged in a holy war against Islam. In this war, the stakes are cosmic and the battle lines are drawn, so anything goes. This attitude is filtered down to the battlefield, where Iraqi detainees have experienced religious torture, forced by military police to drink alcohol, eat pork, and pray to Jesus, where military chaplains have used water rationing to pressure American soldiers to get baptized, and where food aid has arrived with Christian Bible verses attached. This administration's HIV/AIDS policy abroad also carries the whiff of crusade. More than $1 billion of precious HIV assistance has been set aside for unproven abstinence-only messages, even in countries with HIV rates as high as 1 in 4. Religious recipients of this federal money, our tax dollars, have disparaged condom effectiveness. One US funded clergyman even conducted a public condom burning, and have undone years of work to destigmatize the disease, painting it again as an illness only of prostitutes, addicts, homosexuals, and adulterers. In the country where US programs have been most active, Uganda, HIV rates, which were on the decline for many years, have begun to rise again. The great irony of this political moment is that while this administration and its conservative evangelical backers are mobilized against Muslim theocrats abroad, they are edging us toward theocracy at home. The administration's values-driven assault on reproductive rights carries the same callous disregard for consequences as its morality-based HIV agenda. Family planning clinics across the globe have been defunded, hobbling not only abortion access, but access to HIV testing and care, driving up maternal mortality rates, and limiting access to family planning alternatives such as birth control to such a degree that some advocates predict rates of abortion will actually rise. An emergency contraception pill that could drastically reduce the number of abortions in the country was staunchly opposed by so-called pro-life lobbyists and by the Bush administration itself, to the open opposition of its own in-house scientists. Because whenever science points somewhere different from this particular narrow Christian morality, these days science gets crushed. Bush has appointed anti-gay advocates to the federal bench, including the attorney who successfully defended the Boy Scouts for excluding gay boys. And he's thrown his weight behind a constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage. He's nominated people to the federal judiciary who openly oppose church-state separation and view the United States as a Christian nation. And he has instituted a precedent-shattering faith-based initiative that has become a feeding trough for Christian right advocacy groups and he's opened the door to legal religious discrimination in hiring with taxpayer dollars. At every turn, he has chosen to serve his most faithful constituency, even at the cost of betraying democracy. And as Sunsara pointed out earlier, when his polling numbers fall, he simply, humbly reminds us of his Christian faith and hints that a higher power is guiding his hand. All this has been made possible because we have one-party rule in Washington, and that one party, over the past 2 or 3 decades, has been completely and totally taken over by the Christian right from the inside out, with Christian nation advocates running state party committees and serving as the gatekeepers for who can run for office on the Republican ticket. Karl Rove and other top Republican strategists figured out more than a decade ago that in a country where millions of us don't vote, they can rile up their conservative evangelical ground troops to record turnout levels, scaring them that Islamofascism is on the rise and that gay marriage signals the decline of Western civilization, and they can win control of the country. It's inspiring that all of you have decided to be part of taking it back. And I will say it is true, si se puede. The Christian right is a minority movement in this country, but people who are for abortion rights are in the majority. People who are for same-sex rights to partnership are in the majority. People who are against the war in Iraq are in the majority. People who want universal health care are in the majority. We're in the majority in this country. We're certainly in the majority in the globe. And it can be done. Sí se puede.